If you're a lineman in charge of keeping the lights on, Grainger understands that you go to great lengths and sometimes heights to ensure the power is always flowing, which is why you can count on Grainger for professional-grade products and next-day delivery, so you have everything you need to get the job done. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
What's up? Welcome to Friday Night from the Forum, and tonight we're talking about balanced dynasty fantasy football. Not win now, not rebuilds, but win every year. I hope you're ready. We got a good one for you. Let's get it. What's up, everybody?
Oh my!
We got a party tonight. I got Moo the cow. I got Cisco ready to knock somebody's head off, and we got Sleeves flexing that receding hairline like nobody else. My God, we're talking dynasty fantasy football. Welcome to From the Forum. What's up, fellas?
How we living, guys?
Doing good, man. Ready to rock and roll.
Will you teach me to football?
Will you teach me to football? Will you teach me to football, man? You're like, what, 6'8",
Will you
380?
teach me to football? Yeah.
Something
Just
crazy
about.
like that. We got some people in the chat. My mind as a weapon was first here. Kobe and the Cattle Dogs, appreciate you. Got Bayou Bengal Fantasy Network tuning in. Appreciate it. Look, tonight we're talking dynasty fantasy football. And, I don't know if you guys, I feel like there's always this like narrative in fantasy where we're talking, we come over, we take on a team and it's like, okay, I got to win now, right? Like I need to dish my picks. I need to get as many studs as I can. I need to win now. Or there's this idea of, I need to rebuild. I need to trade all my studs. I need to get as many picks as I can. I need to build on young youth. Tonight, we're posing the thought here that you can actually win year after year and be competitive just playing strategic, balanced dynasty fantasy football. Where you can have both vets and young players. You can invest your picks wisely. You can play the trade market, the buy ups, the buy downs, and keep winning. Right. That's what we want to do. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I want that trophy on my mantle, and I just want my name over and over and over and over again. Now, maybe that's just me being conceited or having a lot of pride or just wanting to win a lot, which is okay. I do like winning. But, so just real quick before we get in deep, if you would, just go around the room, introduce yourself. We'll go clockwise. Joe, you start us off with Disco, Sleaze. Introduce yourself, where they can find your content, and then we're going to jump right into it.
Keep this quick. I'm here every week. Joe Frick, Fantasy Football Advice Network. Find me on Twitter, JOEFRK. Pretty much anything that's social media, it's the same handle because I'm uncreative and I don't want to use more than 6 letters. Glad to be here, ready to party with these guys. And yeah, it'll be fun. Yeehaw.
Sleaze, go ahead.
Derek, a.k.a. Sleazebomb. My mind is a weapon fantasy football show. You can find me Sleazebomb everywhere. First time on the show, man. Excited to be here, guys.
Sleaze, can I ask you a question? Are you inhaling or exhaling when you speak? Because I can't really tell. Big Draft Energy YouTube channel. Big Draft Energy on Twitter and everywhere else. Just a best ball guy who crushes every sort of fantasy football league he joined. So I'm here for it.
crushes in every league. So Sleeves, I'm gonna start off with you, and because word around the world or the fantasy realm is, or at least in the community first chat, is that you are a dynasty savant. So share with our listeners, what is like if you had one rule, like as you kind of enter Dynasty League, or the way that you play that you kind of live by, what would that be?
First or last, baby. First or last. No, I usually go, like we said before we were in the show here. So top 3 or bottom 3, and I know you can say, holding the win the whole time, trying to use veterans, trying to use young pieces to stay relevant and stay on top. That's very, very hard in competitive leagues. Like eventually you're gonna have to cut that down and rebuild. It can be done, but my thing is all trading 24/7 always. And you have to be paying attention. You have to know when to strike. You have to know when the player goes down. You have to know everything.
So you're really in the buy low, sell high trend of being able to move your roster, which is really, you have to be engaged. Like I do believe that in Dynasty, like you have to really be engaged year round if you want to be successful. What about you, Disco? When you lean into Dynasty, what's something that you're like, is kind of your forethought or focus as you play?
I have no attachments to any sort of player on your lineup, no matter how good they have been to you in the past. Everybody has a price, and when the price is right, you sell them and you try to maximize not just future equity, but also current performance that you can capitalize on for a year or two in your rosters. So just sell high, get future equity. Equity is everything. Make sure that you liquidate what you have and maximize it for not just the now, but the future as well.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
We got D-Walk in the chat. Who's these people? Nice hat. I clicked on the wrong Dynasty stream, but let's see where this goes. Look, we're here to answer your questions. We're talking about balanced Dynasty format. If you've got questions about your roster, or like when's good to sell high, maybe you're trying to get a player evaluation on a player, drop it in. We'll let you know kind of what we're on, if we're a sell, if we're a buy, if we're a hold on those players, and try to give you some feedback. In the meantime, one of the biggest conundrums, Sleaze, in fantasy is the running back. And it really comes down to what people view as the running back age cliff, right? Like that, which happens a lot earlier. We talked about like the life expectancy of players, right? How long a wide receiver is going to be effective for a roster, how long a quarterback is going to be effective for a roster, a running back, and those are very, very, very different timelines. Tight end, same thing, very different timelines. So like for a running back, what's usually your length of time you want to roster them before you might enter a sell period, or something like that?
I'll use a good example right away here. So if I'm contending, say I see my roster and it's looking like it's a championship roster, I'll let the running back ride to 26, 27. But usually for me at 26 is the sell point. And my example would be like, look at Jonathan Taylor right now, right? He went from running back 1 to a couple injuries. He's 26 years old, and you might not even be able to get a 1.8 for him. And like when people are talking like RJ Harvey right now. So if I have RJ Harvey right now and the Broncos pop this year, which I think they're going to with their defense and their offensive line, and I'm not a contending team, I'm looking to move him right away.
The audience can't get over the cattle suit.
My brother, I live in Ohio.
That's my wife. So that's your sister.
Yeah.
That's Mrs. Disco.
Mrs. Disco.
Yes.
Lady.
Look, it's obviously like right now people are still holding on
the
to
unicorns though, like Henry or Saquon. They're out there.
Right.
Yeah.
You got like CMC, you got Saquon, you got Derrick Henry, and they still have high value, even though they're post the age gap. But a lot of people argue, really, and kind of hitting at that 26-year mark, it's like at the end of their rookie contract, right? Maybe minus a 2-year extension, unless they're exemplary. Like, not many people are going to come in like Zeke, where you get you get essentially 8 years of like top-notch production out of them before they fall off, but is that kind of where you're at, Disco? Are you like does it depend on the player, or do you have kind of a strict strategy behind that as well?
My strategy is actually very simple, and a lot of people won't like it, and I don't care, because it's worked for me in Dynasty historically, and it's going to keep working for me. The NFL stands for not for long, especially for running backs. So the moment they peak is the moment you sell. People are always going to be emotional, especially within the season. The moment you get somebody who's just absolutely going insane, you look at guys who are underperforming but have advantageous schedules later on. You sell high on that running back, get two pieces, two considerable assets, build depth, also build future equity. That's how I build my dynasty, and that's how I'll continue to build my dynasty. I have no attachments to any running back, especially.
That's difficult for me. As you can see, I've got a CMC jersey up on my wall.
I like it.
I do find players that I'm like, you know what? It's one of my guys. I'm gonna let them die on my roster. Like, we're gonna ride it out till the end. And and maybe that's not the smartest. It's probably definitely not the smartest way to play, but I can't help it. It's like the part of the fan. Like, I don't have a favorite NFL team, so I tend to latch on to players, which is why that probably happens. Fantasy has really made that happen for me. But no, definitely appreciate the thoughts on the running back. Joe, what about you? For running backs, are you at a specific space, or maybe is there another position that you're a little bit more careful on?
No, I think running back is definitely the one to watch. To follow up with what Sleaze said, the key with that is there's too much information that's easily accessible that people know what that cliff is. And if you get too close to that, you're never going to return the value, and you're going to be left holding the bag. So it's like, it sounds like it's early. You're saying, 26, like he probably still has 3 or 4 years left. But if somebody's trading for a running back, they don't want it to be for one season, especially when we're talking about off-season mode. Middle of the year, you have a guy that's hot. People are going to be willing to pay up. Like, that's one thing. But when you're in off-season mode, like, people are all looking to make their teams better. And you're never going to get the value of, hey, there's this 28-year-old, 29-year-old guy. You got a couple years left, I think. Like, it just – that conversation is never going to play out well. So I think that dishing those guys off early, I know for me from a dynasty perspective, I'm always trying to keep up on the receivers and just find guys that I believe in that people are lower on consensus on. Like right now, Marvin Harrison Jr., he is going to be the cheapest 101 pick that you could possibly acquire right now because he had a normal rookie season last year. And you had a couple other rookies that really smashed, right? So it's like, if you believe in Marvin, you think that he can be anything close to what he was or projected to be, then it's like, now is the time to go and get him. So that's how I feel like you need to approach it. I think there's other guys that you can take kind of like risks on. Like, I know a couple weeks ago we talked about Chris Olave. I still think the talent is there. The concussion concern doesn't bother me. So it's like, that's somebody that I would go and acquire because I think it's worth the risk. He's still very young. You can do those things. But you got to have people that are willing to let go of those too. So it's just, I almost like to just do whatever anybody in the community is talking about, do the opposite, because everybody is listening. And then it's just like, all right, like, where can you kind of go against the grain and get value?
Yeah, we got a couple people in chat. Grindberg, good evening, fellas. Nice hat, Joe. Look, Disco got you on, man. Like, everybody's loving the hat. Don't worry, Dev says, I'm here. We can party now. Joe, let's get it. Zigzag, baby. Look, I freaking love Dynasty. Let's see here. Let's see. D-Walk says, if the number one running back goes down, the number two running back is often an auto start. The same is not true of wide receiver. Therefore, talking balance, I err on the side of weaker running backs because it's easier to fix mid-year when injury comes. Look, let me tell you something about, and running back is a key here. And if anybody wants to pipe in on that comment, you can. Wide receivers have length of time, and like, you can get wide receivers that have one-off weeks regularly. Your running backs, I think that you need to make sure that you grab some of those high-end handcuffs where you can get them for cheap, because that will keep you in the game. Running back is an injury-prone position, period. It is. And we saw it. If you drafted CMC last year in your redraft leagues, you got a piece of it. If you've owned Jonathan Taylor, you see it a lot. Like it is what it is. It happens. So you can't get away from some of those high upside plays, and you get them. We talked about, obviously, I wouldn't say in Dynasty, but if last year, if you held on to J.K. Dobbins through a good portion, then he gave you some really effective weeks last year that probably kept you or got you into the playoffs. Now, at sort of in the middle of that streak, would I have sold him? Yeah. I don't think his value is going to get much higher than it did then. But I agree. RB2s are definitely, like, I'm still holding on to Roshan shares. I might be a little wild for that, but I just I think he's got a shot. And I know, Disco, I know you're on the other side of that with the rookie that they just drafted, but that's what's great about fantasy. We can agree to disagree. Jerry says hi all. And then Des says people give up on guys so early, it's crazy. So Disco, I mean, in relation to what D-Walk said, how do you agree with that balance strategy? Do you go at it a little bit different?
I mean, it really depends. For starters, I would be more bullish on my running backs if I did anything like standard or half PPR, but I don't hate myself. I only play PPR exclusively. So therefore I get to prioritize, wide receivers and, better positions. I mean, if you play a half PPR and standard,
it's after dark, boys. Here we go.
God bless.
First off, half PPR half point for first down is how fantasy should be played, but people are afraid.
That is a whole different debate for a whole different time. And we're here to talk about Dynasty, not about. I told Joe, guys, to go put something on, like something fun, and this guy came out with like a whole cow outfit, and I was still puzzled as to how he did this. Like, I'm trying to lock in and talk Dynasty here, but like it literally 36 seconds. This guy pulled out a whole like cow outfit, and yeah, it's great. I love it. Fine. But yeah, half PPR.
Look, you should know by now. You've been on the show a few times. When you come on from the forum, we're here for a good time. You're gonna get some strategy, But my guy over here, Joe's got the drip, and he's gonna bring it.
You know what? They call me Frick Nasty, the fashionable. Somebody has to be it in the fantasy football community. It happens, but we all have a role to play. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, D-Walk says, it's 2025, no half or standard. Yeah, I think everybody's PPR. The big debate right now that's going around is third round reversal, but we're not going to get into that. Dynasty, let's see, no disrespect. Everyone starts in a standard half PPR. It's the redraft gateway drug to the Dynasty format. Look, I will say this, Dynasty, like, I love Dynasty. Dynasty gives me that ability to play in the off season. It gives me I love scouting players. I love looking at film. I like seeing draft spots. I like seeing like how the depth chart lays out, values. And that gets me excited because that's where I feel like it's like watching the stock market. My portfolio can grow faster than yours. Like that's how I kind of go at it, right? Like I'm gonna make trades, I'm gonna make moves, I'm gonna try to get the edge. I'm gonna buy low, I'm gonna sell high, right? This is Dynasty.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Period. That's how you stay in it. That's how you stay in the champ, because you can't just win for a few years and then be out, right? and everybody, you talk about managing key positions. We talked about that, like quarterbacks. Quarterbacks, I see so many people move, but like a quarterback's going to give you potentially, I mean, if it's a decent quarterback, which most leagues, you're talking about 16 team or 12 teams, you're going to have at least one that's going to give you, 10 years of production. Wide receiver, you're probably going to get 8 solid years of production. Running back, maybe 4 years solid production, right? And that's probably close to the edge. Tight ends are kind of like maybe 6 years. Right?
That position's changing so much.
Well, we're the only thing that's really changing about it is we're starting to see relevant tight ends earlier. Used to, it was like you draft a tight end, you realize they're not going to actually do anything for your roster till like year 3 or 4. But we are seeing people make an impact earlier. So, do y'all kind of agree with those timelines? Any difference?
At the end of the day, you kind of just gotta look at everybody as their own entity. Ultimately, I don't think a trend is bound to stay. You gotta just analyze everything differently. We've been blessed with Sam LaPorta, his rookie year. We've been blessed with Brock Bowers, his rookie year. We saw Sam LaPorta fall off a cliff his sophomore year, and we're probably going to see Brock Bowers fall off a cliff his sophomore year as well. That's a player take, not necessarily a dynasty piece of advice or whatnot, but as I alluded to earlier, and this is going to be like the main trend that I keep going back to, what it comes down to is making sure that you invest at the right time, make sure that you're very opportunistic, and then sell high and get rid of them when the value's at like it's an unbearable high. And Brock Bowers right now, for like all intents and purposes, he's at an all-time high. Like he's in God territory right now, and when it comes to dynasty fantasy football players. So just there's never going to be a next Brock Bowers. I don't think Tyler Warren or Colston Loveland have that upside, and I don't think Brock Bowers has that upside either. So just get rid of him and move forward.
Not that it's the end all be all, but currently on Keep Trade Cut, it would be a fair trade to trade 1-for-1 Brock Bowers for Bijan Robinson, CeeDee Lamb.
Bonkers.
Like
it's ridiculous, right? And for him to sustain what he did last year, and we're going to go into this being a player take, right? For him to sustain what he did last year, that run game would have to be anemic. It would have to average less than 2 yards per carry. It would have to be on 2nd and long and 3rd and long, the most in the NFL, like it was last year. They would have to do that. But with Pete Carroll, an improved offensive line, and that running back Ashton Genty, just a guy, you know what I mean? Just a guy.
Yeah, but he just changed his stance. He's leaned over now. He's not going to be.
It's good.
It's just over. For Brock Bowers to repeat what he did last year, it's absolutely impossible. It was the perfect recipe for him to be spectacular. The same way it was the perfect recipe for Rico Dowdle to do well down the stretch, because the situation. There's 31 other teams with better running backs than Rico Dowdle that would have done just as good as Rico Dowdle did in Dallas's situation. And now people are drafting Rico Dowdle and trading for Rico Dowdle as the handcuff to Chuba Hubbard, and it just doesn't make sense, right? So you got to read the room, you got to read the schemes, you got to look at the ebbs and flows of the offseason. And Brock Bowers' situation was incredible, but it's not a trend. It's just like, this guy's an outlier. He had an outlier year. And good for the people who had him, because I sure had him when I beat you, Joe, in our IDP league, right? He was definitely on my team. Okay, cool. Just clarifying.
D-Walk said 2.25 tight end premium. Give me Bijan over Brocktavius Bowers.
I didn't realize that was his real name. That's crazy.
Is it Brocktavius?
Mm-hmm. No, but I love it though.
Oh, Jerry just had to come at me with the Zamir thing. Yeah, man.
Don't you love when people bring your takes to you, like down the road? No, it happens to me. It's okay.
Well, why don't you talk about the Jamar Chase no matter what, Jerry Bagshaw? By the way, that guy has the firmest handshake in fantasy football, just in general. His handshake will break your hand. It's crazy.
Jerry Bagshaw?
Yeah, just don't shake his hand. He'll crush it. My hand is still like recovering.
So Britt Bradford's throwing a question in here, and this is really a conundrum I think that a lot of people face. And Sleaze, I want to kind of peg this towards you a little bit, but trade picks or make picks, and I feel like people live on like opposite ends of this spectrum. Where do you lie, and like where would you push people?
Depends on the situation. If it's a startup, I'm trading picks to make picks. If we're already through the draft, say we're in year 2 or 3, my picks are irrelevant to me. I'd rather make trades the whole way through. And I'll just turn that pick into another trade and keep rolling it over. Because my teams are, you want your team to compete. And if the people in your league are smart, you're looking at a 112 or a 212. And sometimes they don't know that. So I just keep rolling them over.
So you're a trade churner. You're like the guy that does like 4 trades in a series of like 6 minutes that were all like preset, and then everybody goes, "Oh, wow! So how did you get from there to there?"
Probably at like 300 trades between 15 dynasties already in off season.
That's insane.
It's absurd. It's really annoying.
Oh, and when you brought up J.K. Dobbins, that was a good 26 point. As soon as he popped those 2 20-point games last year, I sold him in Disco's Dynasty right after that.
Well, don't forget what I did with DeAndre Swift and Ramondre Stevenson.
Right.
They ultimately turned into
No, I
Caleb
was using that
Williams.
as an age
No,
gap
for
player.
sure. But they ultimately ended up in Caleb Williams, Bucky Irving, and Xavier Worthy. Those two at some point were higher than those guys in a dynasty startup, and I turned them into Caleb, Bucky, and Xavier Worthy, and I finished in the championship. So I mean, it's all about, once again, just knowing who your guy is. Going in, like I even got Chase Brown for dirt cheap. Going for knowing who your guy is, invest in your guy, going for them when the value's at an all-time low.
Disco's in here flexing. So speaking of that, like let's get into what about what they always say, let's be specific. Okay. So right now in the dynasty landscape, let's get into a few players that you think are like at that peak trade away value. Right, that like if anybody's watching right now, you're saying, hey, if you have this player, they're never going to be worth more than they're worth right now. Go sell them and try to get a player like this. Let's get into.
Can we do one for each position?
Sure.
Okay.
We'll do it. We'll go position wise. So we'll start quarterback.
Sleaze, you want to go first? Because I got one right off the top.
Go ahead.
All right, Jaden Daniels. I got to get rid of him.
And Dynasty?
Stop
it.
100%.
Stop it.
And I'll tell you why. I'm telling you right now, there's nobody on the planet who was more bullish on Jaden Daniels last year. Sleaze, you were there. There's a couple of people in the chat who were also there.
I said for a second. Sorry.
I said it in late July, early August. I said this, okay? You all have hairy ass. Thanks, Sania. Jesus Christ. You're probably right, though. But Dude Wife, shout out to them.
Oh, man.
They didn't sponsor me. It is what it is. So, anyways, I almost cursed. I'm not allowed to curse here. It's Disco After Dark, but we're not on Disco show. Okay, so nobody said what I said. I said Jaden Daniels was going to be the offensive rookie of the year. This is July, and this is when everybody was out on the Commanders. Not only did I say that, I said he was going to have a career year and a record-breaking year for all rookie quarterbacks. I also said they were going to go to the NFC Championship game. Sleaze was there. I quoted it. I said it. I'm high. Joe, did you say that?
No, I'm just having a moment with the comments that apparently I don't fit into the hairy booty club.
You never know what's going to happen on this one.
Rumors are not true, by the way. I'm
just impressed you have a mustache right now. So with that being said, if you look at the volume and the volatility that he's used in the run game, and then you look at historically his likeliness of suffering an injury, I question his durability, not his ability. And it's more of a durability situation for me. Everybody is at an all-time high for Jaden Daniels. The only thing that could be worse is if we see an injury happen and an injury sustained, similar to an RG3 situation. So I'm out on Jaden Daniels because the ADP is way too high.
But we're talking about owning him in Dynasty.
Yeah, and I'm out on him this year. And if he's shit this year, then I can
Dynasty.
buy him.
That's 10 years.
If I sell high now on Jaden Daniels, right, I can get a lot of pieces, and then I could probably go buy him back when he's at an all-time low. I'm saying right now, he's at an all-time high. I'm not invested in him. People are emotional creatures. They're going to want to get rid of him and get what they can, and then I'm going to buy him back for pennies.
You're going to buy Jaden Daniels back for pennies.
After I sell him for a fortune. I'm going to clip this. I'm going to clip this because you had the same reaction, Sleaze. Did you have?
Yeah, but this is Dynasty.
Did you have the same reaction when I said this about Jaden Daniels last year? How he was going to be in the NFC Championship?
You nailed the calls, but we're talking Dynasty.
Okay,
value.
so I'm going to nail this call too. We had the same reaction. I'm here for the humility. And you don't have any, and I love it. Let's go.
Just Jaden Daniels.
D-Wall said you can get 7,000 top 3 protected first for JD5 right now.
I like D-Walk. I want to have a beer with this guy. He's hilarious.
All-time high.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
No, Sleaze, obviously you have a different opinion. I mean, you feel free to let it. It's on this show. We do have to keep the language down because we are live on radio, but it is okay to disagree with the co-host, including me. I'm okay.
Not me.
I can handle it.
I'm always right.
Shut up, moo cow. No,
it's a cow moo.
Yeah, right. So and Jaden is tough, and it really comes into Dynasty, right? Like, so you can sell Jaden, and you might get, as D-Walk says, 7,000 top 3 protected first and JD for him right now. But there's also the chance that he doesn't fall back, right? He doesn't take a step back. He doesn't take an injury. And then the cost. I don't think the cost gets higher, but it definitely doesn't get lower. Is it? So, I mean, you have a point, I guess, in the fact that it's not going to be higher than it is right now. I feel
it's an all-time high. So, okay, let's look at it this way, right? Because you're in the business of cars, right? You buy a brand new what do you sell? Nissan. You buy a brand new Nissan Titan, right? You buy it, you're stoked about it, you love it. Okay. What happens the moment you take that off the lot? It depreciates.
Half its value.
Half its value, right?
Because Tyler negotiated a really good deal.
Okay.
I don't lose money.
Now say I found a sucker who wants to pay not just what I bought for that car, but he wants to pay double or triple what I invested for that car. I know what the car is currently worth. And I know what the car has been through the moment I took it off the lot, right? So am I going to sit here and say I'm not going to take triple the investment back and, build elsewhere because this guy's at an all-time high value? Like, you alluded to stocks earlier. Say you invested in Bitcoin at like $8, right? And then you got it up to $24. Are you just going to sit and hold, or are you going to take your investment back?
Well, I hope you didn't sell Bitcoin at $24.
No, but again, say that's when you got into it.
No, yeah.
Let's be specific with the specific, and then we got to get to Mark G's question because he paid for it, so we want to make sure he gets answered. But okay, so let's say you're trading JD5, right? You're also trying to win a championship.
Hell yeah.
So you're trying to win a championship because we're talking about balanced dynasty here. So let's say you trade JD5. And you're trying to get essentially maybe a 3 first-rounder-esque type deal, right? What quarterback do you think that you can pair with enough value that keeps your points at the position high enough to still be competitive, right? Because I look at my players, I look at my quarterback, and my running backs, and each roster spot, I think about the points per spot, right? I want each spot to be maximized. So if JD5 represents 27 to 35 points a game, right? Then what quarterback are you going after that has a lower value where you can still get all the buy highs that you need that's going to replace that production, or at least not be as much of a fall off that you're still winning championships.
Okay, so Sleaze knows me very well. He's my co-host on my Friendship Friday shows, the same way you guys kind of doing the Freaky Fridays with Joe here. Sleaze, who's the buy low quarterback that I would pair with, say, DK Metcalf?
Caleb Williams.
No, stupid. It's wrong. Who's my QB1 this year?
Oh, I thought I keep going Dynasty. Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, I would get a Patrick Mahomes, somebody who has shown that he has elite upside. I'm invested in the Patrick Mahomes revenge tour. And then I would also tag in draft capital and say a wide receiver like a DK Metcalf or Jerry Jeudy, even a Cortland Sutton, somebody who I know can perform now, and their value will go up at some point this season where I could flip them as well. But Patrick Mahomes is somebody who's at an all-time low right now, and JD5 is at an all-time high. So that's where I would go with it.
So you're saying JD5 for Patrick Mahomes, a first-round pick, and DK Metcalf or Cortland Sutton or something like that.
Correct. And I would win that trade.
I don't think it's a bad trade.
I don't think it's a bad trade either. And
Sleaze,
that's why I would do
I know
that
you're
trade.
over there scratching your head the whole time. I've been face palming it hard. Are you?
I could probably also tack on more draft equity with that.
If somebody puts that
26.
trade in your inbox, right? If somebody puts that trade in your inbox, or let's say they go, let's say they don't believe, let's say they're going to send you somebody like Drake May or even somebody with high upside this year that could be JJ McCarthy,
like a Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, they give you a JJ McCarthy, or they send you Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr. and a first for JD5. Are you going to take it?
Marvin Harrison Jr. Of course, he's the number one. He's the number one guy to buy low right now.
So say it's Garrett Wilson, Sleaze, and then I know you're in on Justin Fields. I know you like him. I know you're in on Trevor
But if
Lawrence.
we're in a super flex and I own JD5,
but we didn't say
super
flex. We didn't say super flex. We're just taking
drafted him.
You're
we gotta hit Mark G's question. I want to make sure he gets it.
There's two questions actually.
What's up, guys? 2 questions. Trade an early 2026 first, probably 1 through 4, or for Emeka and Trey Benson. Who you rather have, Kyler or Jordan Love? Thanks. Okay, so first question: trade an early 2026 first, probably in the front half, for Emeka and Benson.
No.
Smash that.
You're taking Emeka and Benson for a 1 to 4 next year. I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
Emeka Egbuka is going to be a top 7 asset soon.
If it's on the back side of that, I might be interested. Like if essentially I'm getting Emeka and Benson for like Caleb Johnson or I always try to, if you think about picks, you got to relate picks to players, right? Mm-hmm. Like you got to like attach a name to it or a projected name so that you can get a real value. Go ahead, Sleaze.
Okay, so look at it like this. It does look expensive now, but when you're looking at 2026, say James Conner, injury history that he has every year, 4 games missed. Next year, he'll be 31. You have Mike Evans next year, 32. Chris Godwin next year, 30. Their injury histories are massive. Emeka Egbuka is special, and you will not be able to get that value come next year.
I agree to disagree because this comes down to player takes, not necessarily draft equity. Like, if we're just talking about player takes, I mean, DeMarcado got more work than Trey Benson, and Trey Benson was highly touted. So how much do they actually love the Trey Benson situation? Does he have it all sorted out and figured out? That's an issue to be decided later. It's all theoretical. What it comes down to is the value that you're actually getting in return, right? The actual value in comparison to the imaginable value, where, your mind as a weapon tends to drift sometimes. And it's okay because, like, you're brilliant. You're one of my favorite guys. But Trey Benson, by no means, like, it's literally a 104.
It's not about Benson, though.
It's a 104 for Egbuka. That's what
I think the thing that it comes down to for me is this super flex or not? Because 2026 is supposed to be a really big quarterback
class.
Yeah. And it's like, if it's a 1 QB league, sure. Like, I don't care. Like, whatever, go for it. But if it's going to be super flex, those quarterbacks are going to be worth so much more. Yeah. Those early picks are going to be worth all that. And if Evans and Godwin have a solid year, Egbuka, like you're basically betting this year on the fact that those guys can't stay healthy. But if he has a JSN first year, he's not going to be worth that in the following season. And I'm pretty bullish on Egbuka. He was my most drafted player in my dynasty years this year.
So let me ask you this, and it's because I have this trade on the dock. It's a 1 quarterback league, and I have Kyler. Okay. A guy is willing to trade me Lamar Jackson for Emeka Egbuka and Brian Robinson Jr.
And Kyler?
No. Emeka and Brian Robinson Jr. for Lamar.
That's how good Emeka Egbuka is, by the way. If you didn't realize it now, listen to it now, but I would take that.
Bye, Egbuka. See you later.
I would take that. I would take that. If you're winning now, that's the play.
I love Egbuka. I was very, very early on Egbuka, very bullish on him, loved him, hated the landing spot initially after he got drafted, but I've come to terms with like the whole potential injury situation. With that being said, Lamar Jackson all day, like it's not even close.
Yeah.
All right, so sweet. So let's get to the second part of his question. And I really am not big on either one of these quarterbacks, so I'm going to keep my nose out of it. But would you rather have Kyler or Jordan Love?
Jordan Love.
I mean,
we don't even know Kyler's future.
Do I have to pick one?
Well, you got hype right now. Like today, we see tweets of Kyler out there, and he's like killing it. Like, it's the year. Like, you have that OTA hype right now behind him. And Jordan Love, they're like, oh, he has 7 wide receiver 4s. You see the highlight on Twitter of Savion Williams, doing the curl route, getting hit in the hands. The ball bounces and he fumbles it, but he still catches it and picks it up and runs. And they're like, oh, great, here we go again. If somebody's in Dynasty, right? I mean, which one of these assets do you want to keep? And to me, really, neither one of these assets are ones that I want to build my roster around. So the question is, which one is going to have the highest value to sell faster?
Why is Jordan Love not someone you don't want to build your roster around, by the way?
That's a great question, Sleaze, because I mean, if we're out on Jordan Love, he was hurt last year, then there's an issue, right? We're being way too reactive on what happened last year. I think Jordan Love is a buy right now, and he's one of the better buy low options, and you 100%. Should buy low. Kyler Murray has given you every opportunity to get rid of him. This is like you're never going to get a higher value because we know what's on the other side with Kyler. Whereas we saw Jordan Love be absolutely spectacular the back end of his first year when he took the helm there. And then last year, first week in Rio in Brazil on a slippery field, his knee or calf both popped.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
And then he played through it the rest of the season. We're out on Jordan Love because he couldn't make the play action offense on the Matt LaFleur where he's supposed to roll out and be active and incredibly accurate. They still made the playoffs. They were still a good team. He is one of the better passing quarterbacks, one of the better arms. A healthy Jordan Love over Kyler Murray 10 times out of 10, unless it's like a super premium for rushing. But even then, Kyler is not going to give you that ROI, whereas Jordan Love, he's the best value. You can probably get Jordan Love and then some.
I think that Kyler has a better likelihood of finishing in the top 5 this year, but I think that Jordan Love has the best out of the two. I don't think it happens, but because of the rushing upside, he could pop there. Whereas like Jordan Love, like he's going to have to throw for 40, 45 touchdowns to make that happen. That being said, if we're talking dynasty here and not like this singular season, he is more likely to grow his value. If Kyler has an off year, he could be done.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's in,
but it's like Love, like he may not finish like super high, like he may not be a top 5 quarterback this year, but his value will increase in dynasty this season.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, at the end of the day, we're going to be talking about Kyler Murray if he has a bad year, the same way we were talking about Daniel Jones getting cut last year from the New York Giants. That's the same. That's where Kyler Murray is at. So Jordan Love is somebody who just played through hurt. But even if you're looking at it that way, he still made the playoffs his first 2 years, and he was still incredibly accurate when he had to be in his first 2 years. We saw him be absolutely elite the back end of his first year. And I know I'm repeating myself, but like, we're not going to write somebody off because he was hurt. And if you're going to write somebody off because they were hurt the year prior, then you don't deserve them when they blow up this year. Like, no fantasy championship this year is ever won because we're copying and pasting what happened last year. You have to use common sense. And Jordan Love has shown that he can be absolutely exceptional in that offense. And I think he has top 10 upside as his floor minimum, as long as he stays healthy. And nobody should really do a victory rap if somebody gets hurt, but that's for a different conversation. Yeah, I'm
he also got a really good receiver in Matthew Golden too.
Yeah,
I mean, he's better than anything that's in that room day one.
And Jaden Reed's still there, and Christian Watson is no longer the guy that we're depending on to be the guy. There's still Dante. Like, we're looking at depth as a bad thing. Luke Musgrave is still, like, depth is not a bad thing. He has a litany of weapons, which is what every quarterback wants, and they're all good. It's so much depth that, you know, you cannot fail. So we can't look at depth as if it's a bad thing.
I think the other thing that's an unfair criticism for Love is that he's not the pepper this one guy with targets. Like, there's not the correlation of like, hey, like, I have this wide receiver one in fantasy and then this quarterback that's done well is also. So it's like there's this perception in the fantasy community that, oh, like, he's not going to get it done because he doesn't have a guy that he throws 170 times to.
Yeah. And they're going to have to preserve Josh Jacobs. At some point, Josh Jacobs is going to miss time.
He can't take that many touches.
He can't, right? So he's going to miss some time this year, whether he gets spelled from another running back or whether he goes down with an injury, because he was over 300 touches last year. We know that we're going to have to rely on that offense and that passing game in high potential shootout games. They have already 7 games with 47 or over total expected points in this upcoming season. So, I mean, we're expecting shootouts, we're expecting fireworks. It's not going to all be Josh Jacobs. Jordan Love is a buy now. Buy him now. Like, if you are watching us, like, keep watching. Make sure you have YouTube Premium to keep us up, but go trade for Jordan Love.
So I'll put it like this. If you're playing Dynasty and the real NFL is talking about trading your quarterback that you own, you're already too late.
Yeah, that's a fire.
No, I like it. And guys, I'm going to kind of move the conversation because we've got several more positions to cover as far as like players we're looking to move off of in a balanced dynasty format. I love to talk some quarterbacks. You know, for me, I sold Jordan Love as soon as he popped off when they let Aaron Rodgers go, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, this is the equation, right? This is the way that the Packers do it." And he is excellent, and everybody looked at him like he would be the next Aaron Rodgers, and I sold him for a bucket. But that's me. I just didn't believe in the talent over a long period of time, like as a franchise dynasty asset. Right, because for me, I want somebody that's going to be elite for the next 10 years. So I don't have to touch the position. Right. Like Jaden Daniels. Sure. Yeah. So, I'm with you. Okay. I hate you. Are there tariffs on supers? I don't think so, but I guess I'll find out now since you donated in Canadian. I appreciate it, you know. So look, okay, running backs. What running backs and you know, we're tight against the timeline, so I'm gonna really let Sleaze and Disco here hit as our guests. A running back now that has a super high value that you're looking to move off of, and then make sure you couple it with a asset that you want to get back plus, right? That's going to, remember, again, we want to accumulate the same points per roster spot, but we want to gain assets to continue to build on this monster of a team that we have.
I think I'm going to agree with Sleaze Ball's answer here. I know Sleaze too well.
So are we trying to go for players that are already high value or players that I'm trying to get up that are gain high value and then move?
This is balanced dynasty. You're winning championships and you want to continue to win. So you may believe that this person is at the top of their game, but maybe they're expended. So you're only going to get this year's production. So there may be somebody on the other side that can still produce that same value or close enough to it, plus a future asset or two, or fill in another roster gap. So who's that player that you're looking to deal right now?
Saquon Barkley. Yep.
Saquon Barkley.
28, talking about retirement, 380 touches.
Do you think the retirement narrative hurt his value though? Like, are you what do you get in that trade? Like, what are you trading Saquon for?
The world.
Give me Quinshawn Judkins and a 26 first and a 27 second.
Okay.
I sold Saquon 2 years ago, so
Can I ask you a question, Tyler?
Yeah.
Historically, if you look at running backs who led the league in touches,
Everything.
in touches and everything, historically, when you look at those running backs, what do they do the following season in fantasy?
You talking about the curse of the 300?
No, I'm not talking about the curse of 300. I'm talking about the person who led the league in fantasy football, in NFL, in touches, whether it be passing or running. What happens to them the following season in fantasy?
They get hurt.
They fall off a cliff, significant cliff. It's not even just hurt. I'm not worried about hurt. They fall off of a cliff and they don't give you that return on investment in fantasy football. It's like the most foolproof thing that you can focus on in fantasy, especially in Dynasty. It has worked every single year. Yes, Saquon Barkley is a unicorn. Yes, he's good for football, but he is battling two curses this year. He's battling the curse of 300 plus touches, and he's battling the Madden curse. Like he needs to stop what he's doing. He needs to do the Saquon, Barkley stuff, and I pray he stays healthy. But Will Shipley's probably somebody who I'm invested in every best ball draft.
I see everybody's talking about buying Will Shipley right now.
I'm selling Will Shipley.
Yeah.
There's no way.
You're also wearing a cowboy hat.
Erroneous accusation.
Don't make the outfit personal. Don't make it personal. Okay?
I did this for you, by the way.
I know you did. I'm so grateful. It's I keep
okay. So
Saquon.
I would also say Breece Hall. I'm just out on Breece Hall. I don't care about the age, nothing.
Isaiah Davis is somebody I want in my back pocket. I'm just telling you.
I've said this like 5 times. I think Breece Hall's value right now, which is still decent off a bad year, is the best it's ever going to be.
Philly water is different. Barkley will be even better for no reason at all. Philly water is dirty. Okay.
I hate Philly so much with everything.
It's not going to be better. Okay.
Philly cheesesteaks are overrated.
Love it. Again, we got to keep cooking. Even though Joe, I mean, they both gave the same in ingredients with Saquon. Is there anybody that you're moving off of this year?
I was trying to move off him before the draft because I thought that they were going to draft somebody. People are going to forget that he's a 5th round pick and he's tied to an elite offense, but they're probably going to replace him at some point. Chase Brown, give him a couple big games. He'll probably be really good this year, but long-term, like we were saying before, the NFL knows more than we do, even if we sit here and talk about it on YouTube. 5th round capital for a reason. So
I just dealt Chase Brown for BTJ straight.
What? You're crazy.
I'm telling you, you play with middle school kids, Tyler.
No, it's the hype. It's the hype. If you come out of the draft, everybody expects them to draft somebody. They don't draft somebody. He was good last year.
No. BTJ?
How was that not vetoed?
Let me just plug the website real quick.
Yeah, hang on.
FSAN.com. Tyler writes fake articles about Chase Brown so he can sell them for BTJ.
To be straight, I actually dealt the full compass of the trade was Chase Brown, Jerry Jeudy, and J.K. Dobbins.
And a Nissan Rogue.
No, four. I don't really need to get into it. 4, BTJ, Kenneth Walker, and Trey Benson. So maybe I would have traded Chase Brown and Jerry Jeudy for BTJ. Like, I mean, but the what I'm talking about is it's the buy sell, like the buy high, like the sell high, buy low formula, right? Like
What are you buying low on BTJ?
No, listen, the Jags draft Travis Hunter, right? Chase Brown gets no backfield competition, right? That anybody's thinking about. I know that there's some in the room that like Taj Brooks, but like they don't really draft anybody to really give him competition in his role, especially if it's a PPR format. We're talking about a pass catching back. He has validity. And some people believe that he's actually going to finish as a top 5 running back this year in fantasy. And so if you're talking about a top 5 running back in fantasy for a top 5 wide receiver, running backs are typically harder to attain, especially with long-term value. So that was the deal.
That's crazy. You could probably sell someone a car with 3 wheels.
I can sell somebody. No, okay. D-Walk and appreciate it. You guys are all right. Go Birds. Sorry, Joe. I subscribed. Hey, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the support.
And Ghost Eagles. The Eagles are fine. It's the Flyers that I can't stand. So all love for the Eagles.
The Eagles got all they wanted, and that the tush push did not get banned, and they celebrated, and everybody's happy because of it. Jalen Hurts value sustained.
Yep. It stayed
because had that gone through, Jalen Hurts value would have dropped significantly in dynasty formats. Okay,
dude, he was on the trade block everywhere during that in all my leagues. Everyone was panicking.
Oh man, I would have bought that up.
But see, that's
he threw less than 20 touchdown passes last year. There's no way that's going to happen this year.
Look. In Dynasty, if I can give you any morsel, if you want to win through trading, just freaking work the panic traders. Like there's so many people that just like panic and they want to just hurry up and get like the most value they can out of a player. And most of the time they end up selling them for cheap. They don't win, right? Like, and you can win heavy in those deals because they're just trying to get rid of them because they're nervous. Don't do panic plays, period. Is my car supposed to have less than 3 wheels? No, hopefully it has 4 wheels. Okay.
Expert analysis, Tyler.
I know, right? move over to we're moving to wide receivers, okay? Wide receivers right now that you're moving off of and who you're trying to attain plus. Go ahead. Start us off, Sleaze.
He gave me Saquon last time. I would go and add Bucky Irving, but go ahead. Start us off, Sleaze. I'm off of Bucky Irving this year too.
We're doing wide receivers that I'm moving right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I would start off with Brandon Ayuk. If I could get it for a Matthew Golden, I would take that all day, every day.
Nobody's paying that.
He's I see how you go for a 111. You can get Golden for like 2.1 sometimes.
That's worse than my trade. If you got a 111 for Ayuk right now after coming off an injury, you are gifted.
I've seen some.
You're gifted.
If not, I mean, anyway, to get rid of him, he's one player I'm completely out on. If I had to give another one that I'm trying to get rid of here, and I'm trying to still compete and stay in the same range. I mean, Tyreek Hill's someone you got to run from, but it's the buying market is not there for the player you have, so he's kind of tough. I mean, if you can get any first around there, I would take it, but most people are scared to buy him. Let me throw another one out there real quick, going through the list. Chris Evans or Mike Godwin are contending only pieces for me that I'd like to move.
Chris Evans or Mike Godwin?
Mike Evans.
Captain America? You got Captain America on the trade block, bro.
Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And I'd try to, any way I can get to a Jerry Jeudy is what I'm trying to look for.
Well, you can get
Canada one Captain America
tomorrow. I promise. That deal will happen. If you offer Mike Evans for Jerry Jeudy, I will take it, and other people will take it.
I would do that all day. I do not believe in Mike Evans this year. No way he does it again.
I mean, you guys got to look at it this way with Mike Evans, because I agree with Mike Evans. Get rid of him high. They kind of did this big school party at the end when they fed Mike Evans his.
That was crazy, bro.
When they fed Mike Evans his last touch, we probably just saw it for the last time. It's not happening again, right? With him getting 1K, we saw it happen. We saw the celebration.
The guy's
go
hamstring
crazy.
Is blown out.
Yeah, it's done. So listen, I'm an advocate for selling, and as I said, I have zero attachments whatsoever. Last year, Anybody who would listen to me, I told them Jamar Chase no matter what. Right now, if you have an opportunity to sell Jamar Chase, you could probably get the world for him. So I am going to try to get the world for selling Jamar Chase, not just make sure that I'm good for this year with, say, like a Nico Collins and then some, or something, or like a Puka Nacua and then some, or a Brian Thomas Jr. and then some. I'm also going to establish myself for the future as well. I'm always an advocate of selling people at like an astronomical high that cannot be repeated. How often have we seen a wide receiver one repeat the following year as a wide receiver one? Very seldom. We saw Devontae Adams, Antonio Brown, and Calvin Johnson. Is Jamar Chase in that same echelon, that same category of wide receiver? Potentially, because what he did was absolutely incredible, but he also just got paid.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
I am a fan of watching the just got paid dynamic. I think that does affect players. Unfortunately, it does, especially if it's a fully guaranteed contract.
Oh yeah.
Just I don't hate that take, actually. I don't hate the take on the sale of Jamar Chase. I understand we see 1,700 yards last year, 17 touchdowns, number one in fantasy. But I mean, BTJ and like
Nico and Puka, and it's well within the realm of possibilities.
BTJ's value is high.
So on the
but
flip
it's not
of that,
Jamar Chase. Like somebody would pay you Nico and BTJ to get Jamar Chase.
Oh my
so
God!
I bought Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase from a draft. I sold him for T. Higgins. My first, which would have been Hampton, and then a late 2026 first.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
That's what he's worth. Yeah.
And I was fine with that.
Yeah. I don't think you can get both BTJ and Nico, but I think you could get like a BTJ.
I think you can, because I don't think, weirdly enough, maybe it's draft capital, but for some reason, the world doesn't seem as high on Nico as he deserves to be.
Okay, so like we're talking about different like realistic.
I feel like they put Nico in the same panel as Cortland Sutton.
I traded Chase Evans and I got Tony Pollard and Jalen Warren, and I was happy. I'm like, I got Jalen Warren and Tony Pollard for Chase Brown. This guy gets Brian Thomas Jr., Kenneth Walker the third. So I mean, like, yeah, it's well within the possibility to get both of those guys, both Puka and Nico and Brian Thomas Jr. But I don't think you could get both of them. Like, I don't know a league that I'm in, and I'm in several dynasty leagues where I could get both of them. I could get one of them and then some. Yeah,
it's a real trade. I'm telling you, dude, it's weird. It's weird. There are some players in the NFL that fantasy people just do not latch to, and they put them over here in this corner like they're like second-rate citizens. And Nico Collins is one of those players. Like people don't look at Nico and go, "This is my wide receiver one." They look at Nico and say, "This is my mid guy." You know, I do too. But what I'm saying,
he goes like number 9 in best ball drafts right now. Like, how can you get? That's crazy. If you can get that trade, I need to see that. Send it to me.
I do want to see it too, but I mean, I haven't seen it possible. But I can imagine somebody's panicking and wants to get Jamar Chase because they're reactive. I just don't have those people in my leagues.
All right, keep it moving because we are a little bit over time. So I'm going to try to jam this last bit in the 10 minutes. Let's get to tight end. Who is a tight end that you're moving off of now, right? And then who are you trying to get?
Brock Bowers. I'm trying to get Trey McBride.
So you're moving off Brock Bowers and Trey McBride and what?
I think you could get like a second in 27. I think you could get maybe even a second in 26. And if they're really desperate to get Brock Bowers, which a lot of people are, especially the Raiders fans, It's kind of like their messiah. You could probably get a future first as well for Trey McBride. And Trey McBride, he's only got sustainability and longevity and, more rapport with Kyler Murray. The only thing that we're missing there is touchdown progression. And once he gets the touchdown progression, he's going to kill it because he's been as consistent as they come. Brock Bowers has a completely different scenario and situation. And for him to repeat, I think is next to impossible.
Well, Geno has never effectively really fed his tight end.
And neither has Pete Carroll.
Yeah, right. So Brock Bowers, I mean, it's definitely a deal there. I like Trey McBride, and I do think, tight end is a weird position. Like you get starting franchise position tight ends in the second, third, and fourth rounds. Like you do not have to spend a first on a tight end. Trey McBride was not a first-round pick. In majority of drafts, he was a second-round pick in Dynasty. And we are seeing what he's capable of now. I love that take. That's a great take. What about you, Sleaze? Tight end you're moving off of now.
I'm taking, if I have Jonnu Smith and he's my tight end 2, I'm taking him and moving him for Terrence Ferguson right now. If David Njoku is my tight end 2, I'd be moving him for Terrence Ferguson as like a second right now as well. That's how high I am on Terrence Ferguson.
All right. It's interesting. I'm interested. The Terrence Ferguson hype
Tyler Higbee's done.
He's come out recently.
Did he ever start?
Yeah, he's done. It's done. It's done. We need to stop talking about it.
Tyler Higbee isn't a real person, I don't think.
He's done. But yes, I believe it's going to be, it's also scary because you have Stafford. You don't know the situation next year. What's going to happen? Is he playing one more year? Do they do one last dance? But Ferguson, if he had Adams and Puka out there, oh my God, he's going to be open all day.
What about you, Joe? Tight end you're moving off of?
Give me Tyler Warren. I know that he had the big year last year. I know he was taken in the first round, but the way that he's being valued when he hasn't stepped on the field yet, same with Colston Loveland, I think that it's too high. I think people have this, rookie tight ends are going to just do what the last couple sets of rookie tight ends have done. I don't think that they're necessarily going to live up to the hype. I don't have a lot of faith with anything that's happening in the Colts quarterback room. Richardson has the shoulder injury. Daniel Jones is still Daniel Jones. It's an upgrade from Anthony Richardson, but it's not great. I think his value does not increase this year. So somebody that you can get in a 1-for-1 right now, shout out to our boy Brainy Ballers. You could flip Tyler Warren for Jackson Dart right now. Like you could do something like that. You can get a
roster construction, I guess, for sure.
Right. But it's just like, to me, it's just how can somebody that hasn't played the game in the NFL yet, who had one good season in college, how is he already tight end 5? You're already at peak value essentially because the top 2 guys aren't going anywhere for sure. So really, how high can his value actually go?
I have Tyler Warren at tight end 3 in Dynasty.
But I mean, you can't really blame Tyler Warren for having one good year in college.
He was also behind.
He's never had a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Last year was the first year where he had to go play quarterback essentially as a wildcat for him to finally get recognition and noticed as a valuable talent. I mean, the talent is there. You look at what he did last year. I mean, sure, he didn't perform and put up statistical numbers his first few years, but that's because, look at the quarterback play. Those guys aren't even CFL worthy.
But he he had Theo Johnson ahead of him and Brenton Strange, right? He had a tough road to get there. They were both good.
Two tight ends that we are hoping emerge this year still. Like we're still waiting on the emergence of those players. I don't hate the take, Joe. I don't hate the take on, and obviously I'm a little bit of a middleman here. I'm trying to support everybody and their takes. I don't hate Tyler Warren's value is extremely high, and if it doesn't pan out, if he doesn't LaPorta in year 1, then that value is going to drop. Right. And so the reaction here is, and really what Disco and Sleaze are showing is tight end 3 in Dynasty roster. Disco's I don't know if I deal Warren. So you got 2 Dynasty savants here that are going hey, I kind of want to hang on to that guy. I don't know if he's worth dealing, which then portrays the value, the market value, right? So if you can deal him and let's say you get or him or Colston Loveland, right? And you get a first next year and an Evan Ingram or something like that. I don't hate that deal. I still keep my points
I
per
don't
position. I still get a first-round pick next year, which I could take the top tight end next year. That's the thing in tight end world is like if you spend a first on a tight end, you're getting the top guy. Brock Bowers went in most dynasty drafts in the second half of the first round. Because people are going to probably, especially in a realm where it's supposed to be a quarterback heavy draft next year, like you're going to get those players, right? Like you're going to get the top tight end early. So that
2026 tight end class is rough.
It's not looking good for that.
It is rough.
We thought the same thing about this tight end class as well, but then like we just kind of.
What do you got? Max Clark? Is that your number one?
I'm just saying we thought the same thing about this tight end class, and it wasn't until like late November, early December where we started talking about Warren. It could change. People could.
I'm gonna put it on your map. Luke Haas, Ole Miss.
Oh, I thought it was a Razorback right away.
Eli Stowers from Vanderbilt.
He started as a Razorback.
I think the only hype I've ever heard is like Max Clark from Ohio State. He's going to be drafted high, maybe your late first, early second. I'm like,
can Warren block and can Warren block in line like a Big
10 O-line?
Big 10 O-line.
Yeah.
Better than a Big 10 slot. Play quarterback, running back. Better than all conference athlete. Yeah, it's a fair point. By the way, if you're tuned in still, I appreciate you. We are 10 past the hour. Thanks for the support. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe. My people, you're awesome. Look, we've got to round this thing out because I know both these guys I think are on East Coast time, which means it is well past their bedtime hour. Most likely, some of us are crazy, but I might live in that world. But yeah, exactly. The yawn hits as I say it. No, real quick. I just want to go around.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Joe, we'll go Joe, Disco, Sleaze. I want you to just share with the audience one balancing principle that you live by in Dynasty to try to continue winning year over year. It can be in short, it can be essentially a theme to live by, right? But like, what is that? Like, if you can leave the audience right now with one thing left over from this show to help them win year after year after year, what's that verbiage of truth? Go ahead, Joe. You look like you're in deep thought.
Yeah, I would just say that if a player is being valued extremely higher than what they are in real life, it's probably time to sell.
Yeah, that's
so like Justin Fields, great fantasy quarterback. When you saw him have his breakout season, you were probably like, I'm set for the rest of my life as long as he's playing quarterback. Pretty much out of the league if he doesn't get it done next year and with the Jets. So the fantasy value and the real value, they have to have some correlation.
Yeah, I'm a sell on Fields.
That's a good take. I would say like you gotta say there's a player out there that you really like and you really want. And you really want on your roster and you really want on your team, kind of treat it like, that girl that's in a relationship with a guy that you absolutely hate, right? Treat it like that because we know that guy's going to screw up and mess it up somehow, right? Whether it be, just putting him on the bench or investing in like another girl at the same time with the same position. It just doesn't work out. So I would just be ready to go in and swoop in and, save the day when, he messes up and it's an all-time low and you just got to be the hero in the movie and just go rescue that chick.
Disco got the boombox in the window. He's like,
I'm a romantic, man.
So let me ask you this: are you trying to rescue Kyle Pitts right now?
Hell no. I don't know.
I didn't know. I was
he's drafting before me in best ball all year long.
Hell yeah.
Hey man, Kyle Pitts is going to be the tight end 5 in Pittsburgh this year. Just wait for it.
Over Darnell Washington? No way.
They love Darnell Washington. That's their 6th offensive lineman.
6'7". Guys,
I love
huge,
Darnell.
bro.
Yeah, he's smaller than me.
All right, Sleaze.
So one thing, the key that I would say that I use for Dynasty, that it took me even time to learn this over time, is patience. Patience. Everyone is about win now. Everyone is about a trade, get it done now. And the minute you have them on that hook, dude, and you reel them in as slow as you can, they make more mistakes as the counters come over and over and over. And I've just beaten this to a drum recently.
No, I love that too, man. This is great advice from the crew. Look, here's the thing. My biggest thing that I can tell you in Dynasty is like, do your research, like do your player evaluation and buy your folks, right? Like, and I say that like, there is playing the market. There is looking at these things, but build your team. Like if you're going to play Dynasty, you got to be invested. Right? You got to be consistent. You got to be invested. You got to continue to put energy into it. This Sleazy. I mean, I was in a league that I didn't even play in with you for like 2 weeks. And in the first 4 rounds of the rookie draft, probably over 400 trades sent, like a ridiculous number of like, everybody's always like, Sleaze, you send the trade and you take it away, you send it and you take it away,
Mind games.
Everything that he just said he was doing to me.
No, it wasn't just you, it was other people too. Disco's getting phone calls going like, this league, I hate this, the pay-in rules and the trades, and it's like, but it's part of it. Like if you want to build a good team, you got, like, I promise you, the reason we play Dynasty is because there's this, like, somewhere inside of us, there's this realm where we want to be a GM. Like we want to build a team. We want to run a team because we think we can do it better. From our kitchen or our living rooms on the couch.
I think I can run the Jets better.
And exactly. Right. See that verbiage, right?
Jets man.
But like, the buy low, the sell high, the work in the market, like you got to be on and be involved, right? Work those deals.
Oh, if you're playing Dynasty, not till you're dead in the water.
And then don't be scared to make a move. Like, don't be scared to make a move. Because when everybody else is going, there's no way I would trade this person. The people that win year after year are the ones trading them. They're getting the young asset that's going to replace them for the next 4 years plus. I'm just telling you, it's how it works. So, we hope you win. We hope you continue to win. I hope you win every freaking year. Appreciate you tuning in. Guys, just one more time, Sleaze, start us off, and then we'll go Disco. Let these people know where they can find you and where they can tag into your content. So, maybe if you have a YouTube channel, where they can subscribe. We want them to follow you. You guys are great people and great content creators. So,
first of all, thanks for having me on, man. First time here. I've come back anytime. We can sit here and talk topics all day, go way over time. It's terrible. You can find me at Sleazebomb across every single platform. My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football. You can find me on Disco's show. You can find him on my show. We're just like you two guys at the top. We go to everything. We would come to shows together. You like that? And it was great show, guys.
Appreciate that.
My ear is plugged.
Yeah, I don't know if you're like just getting possessed right now. It's getting dark in your room. It's weird, Sleaze. Stop it. Stop it. We almost like came in with like our tuxedos and said like we're here to F things up, like from the Step Brothers. Yes, I'm glad you got that. I love it. Big draft energy. Pretty much everywhere. We're live Monday to Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Doing best ball drafts, rocking it over with Drafters Fantasy Sports, the best ball app on the planet. Period. Done. That's it. And yeah, love coming on, love chopping it up with you guys. I'm still super impressed that Joe put that
was quick.
Like that costume, 36 seconds. Like the mask, just
that's my typical time for most things.
Oh, this is just like a whole, like, I just learned something completely new about you, that you have costumes on deck, which is something I don't have access to.
Keep the guns hot, baby. And the beer bats, of course.
Look, when a guy has that many pairs of sneakers, you can only imagine what his closet looks like.
That is a nice sneaker collection.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I like it. I dig it.
What's the most expensive one in there?
Let them know. Where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, JOEFRK, on the Fantasy Sports Advice Network app. So give us a shout. Check us out there. Going to especially have a lot of Scott Fishbowl content. I'm not the best ball guy. Dynasty's cool, I guess, but redraft fishbowl stuff, that's my cup of tea. So going to be getting into some rankings and strategy there coming soon. So ready to tear it up. And third round reversal is officially back. So anybody who complained about that, you are soft.
Yep, I like it.
I hate it. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. No, it's okay. I'll deal. I did claim before the announcement. I claimed my pick at the 1-3. So
I'm also the 1-3. You got to get in the chat, bro.
I'll get in. I'll hop in. Just send me the link. Hey, everybody, look, I can't tell you thank you enough for tuning in. I appreciate you supporting these guys. I appreciate, you coming in and hanging out with me and Joe each week, 9:00 Central Time, every Friday night. Instead of going on date night, come hang out with us and the guy in the cow suit over there. We're always willing to drop the fantasy knowledge. And again, appreciate you so much. Y'all have a great night, and we'll see you next Friday, 9:00 Central from the forum. See ya.
We are here. We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No